to start this from the bottom position. You're going to go to the right or the left. Okay, all right. So I'll have Derek and Mike coach it here, but just a few introductory things. Basically, what you want to do is when you trap him, okay, trap the arm, you want to make sure it's bent nice and close to you. And the worst thing you want to do is let him straighten his arm. A lot of guys can power out of this. So you've got to keep that bent initially, really early. So you guys, they've unlocked a lot of people, so only have to coach on. So we'll start. This is a pretty good basic position to start your bottom position. Also for the new guys, real quick, there are basically two sides, two ways of doing Ude Garami. One is the upward position, and one is the lower position. We're going to work on the lower position today, okay? Both are quite effective. You'll have one preference over the other often, or you like both of them. So why don't you coach? Anything you have to add, Mike? Please do.
Okay, so it's especially powerful if you can get the guy's hands down there, okay? But you can also do it from when his hands are on your belt. Okay, we're going to start from the hands on the mat. Okay, whether he's silly enough to do that himself, or you want to put his arms there, it's fine. If you want to put his hands there, we're just going to come on the inside of the wrists, and then as I pop sideways, I'm going to like do a crunch with my legs. Okay, and he moves in. From here, I just reach down and I grab. I'm going to grab this side. It doesn't really matter which side you go. Okay, there's a debate on thumb out or thumb in. It's whichever one you're comfortable with. I like thumb out, the meat hook grip, because it gives me more flexibility in my wrist, more range of motion. But it's a very powerful grip when you do thumb in. So it's personal.
Real quick, guys, what Derek's establishing here, you've got to have what we call, whether it's in throwing or ground fighting, there's an anchor hand. Okay, there's an anchor. That's the anchor. That's what you're setting them up with. That's the first thing you grab them with, and you control them with it. Now, once you have that anchor, then you go to work on the guy. So just a little quick here, so you kind of have an idea where we're going with this.
Okay. So went ahead and I isolated that wrist. I got my anchor grip. I'm going to sit up and wrap my arm around. Okay, that's the Garami part. Ude means arm, Garami means entanglement. You can also think of it as wrapping around. Okay, but I sat up until I feel his shoulder in my chest. I reach around and then I grab my own wrist. Okay, if you're having trouble grabbing your wrist, okay, we pull the wrist up into your chest, and then you grab your wrist. And you notice that this is starting to look like a chicken wing, okay? Like that. I want it to be as tight as I can get, and then as tight into my chest as I can get, because then he has a smaller range of motion, which makes it easier to finish, okay? So as soon as I get this, I'm going to lead with this leg, and I'm going to point it that way across the back, okay? And then as I turn this way, I'm going to push the arm forward, okay? Don't get it like way up there, because then we're stuck there. We want it right across the lower part of the back, and that gives us a nice little path to go right through while still maintaining control.
Real quick, guys, look at the position. Everybody see this. This is vital in ground fighting. See, it's almost like an L. See this? Derek is here, Mike is here. Look at the leg traps. Now, this is where a lot of people get lazy on this part. I want you to learn it right from the get-go the correct way. I think the correct way, the most efficient way. You see how he's trapping here. Everybody see this? He's good. Just basic weight problem. See how he's trapped here? The bottom leg is trapping under Mike's body. The upper leg is trapping over Mike's belt area and hip, and he's trapping him in. He's not letting him away. A lot of people try to, like pull full guard or do something. You're losing power in it. You're losing control, believe it or not. It looks like he's got control, but he has more control doing this because he's manipulating with his feet and legs. So that's a really key part of it. If you learn the right stuff right from the get-go, you'll really be very efficient and good with this arm work, okay? So look at the angle here. See that?
Okay. So once I bring that leg up across the belt line, I suck that elbow in nice and tight to my chest. I've still got my wrist-to-wrist position here, and then I just paint his knuckles sideways, okay? So the three pieces of any bent arm lock are, you get the wrist-to-wrist connection, okay? You suck in the arm as close as you can, the elbow as close as you can to your chest, and then you paint his knuckles across something like a paintbrush. Okay, so if you think of it like you're painting his knuckles, it makes it a lot easier. All right, so all the way from the front. Okay.
Real quick point, I hate to keep interrupting because he's doing a great job, but one thing here, you notice Derek rolled on his hip to his right. He didn't stay on his back. Do not stay on your back. That's a weak position to be in. Mike will dominate. You roll up to the side. Yeah, see, you want to roll up to that side, get on your flank, as it were, and then roll back into it. And that momentum also creates more pain in the elbow joint. And it really is a shoulder lock too, basically. It looks like an elbow lock, and it is, but it also hurts the heck out of their shoulder.
Yeah.
I always think of this as the kazoosh, the off balance, and whenever he tips me over.
That's a good point. It tips him over, and it really does break his balance. Even though he's on his knees, you can still break a man's balance.
If you're sitting up correctly, you're already up onto that hip right there. Okay, so that part should be easy. If he's already flattened you and he's stupid enough to put his hands in front of the mat like that, we just roll through here like this onto our hip, okay? And then I try and roll onto the opposite hip after I chicken wing this. And somewhere before I actually hit that hip, heel tap, okay? But usually for this application, sit up, that gets me on that hip, I've locked in it nice and tight, come back through. We've got the tap. Got anything to add to that?
But it's a real sneaky arm lock. It really is, and it's effective. It really is effective. It's from this position. This is one of those things you want to be ambidextrous at. You want to be good on the right and the left, because you never know where you'll be in a position in a fight or a match or something. You might have no room to move to your left, and it's the only way you've ever practiced it. You're kind of out of luck. So be sure when you learn it, go on your right and your left. And when you drill on it, we'll drill right and left. You want to be ambidextrous. We all have a side we prefer. I get that, but try to be as ambidextrous as possible. Anything, especially in Newaza and the ground here, because you'll find it's very useful for you. Okay. All right. Anything to add, guys? We good? I'm good. All right, let's go ahead and get some practice on this. Okay. So here's a good practical application. It's just actually rather basic, but it works quite well. It suckers a lot of people. Mike's the top man. He wants to pass guard here. He wants to get past Derek's leg. So he's going to push his knee down. This is quite common, however he does it, but he's got that knee. Well, now this is a good counter to that. What Derek's going to do, he's going to roll that side immediately, and he's going to grab the wrist. And guess what? There's the Ude Garami. And you take it nice and clean. Okay, so this is a real good counter. So when a guy passes, okay, guys, turn around here so you can kind of get this. Now, so you're going to do it, say, one side on the left, and come do that. Good. And he's going to do one side on the right. And then I'll take turns. Okay? So once to the left, once to the right. This is a good way to practice to be ambidextrous. But you never know, if he does it. And another way is to sucker him into it, too. Can you get back on your back there? When you're fighting a guy, and here, you could sucker him into that. If you want to go, let's say which side you want to go to. Okay, he wants to go to this side. So he could get lazy with his leg and just let him have it, and then he suckers him into it. And this is kind of common, and even good guys get fooled, okay? So if we're fighting here, and he just lets him have the leg and take him. So you can do that as well. You can bait him into it by getting lazy with that leg and just kind of letting him, oh my gosh, I've got the leg. Look at, I'll pass. Nope, I'm there. See? So that's what we do. Another thing I'd like to talk about is also drag the arm. So when you're doing this, to give yourself a little impetus, trap that arm. Look at what he did. He reached over, and as he's rolling over, see on his hip, with his right hand, he grabbed the tricep area and pulled it in tight, and he just dragged it in, and he warms it up.
So it's almost like you're, a lot of times when I do this, I'm coming half up and he realizes what's going on, and he kind of stiff arms me a little bit. Like he hasn't got a full straight arm because I'm already sitting up, but he's starting to try and resist me wrapping my arm all the way through. So catch right behind the tricep, and then as you come back, you pull that tricep into your chest. Then you lace it up.
It really is. Some guy will higher in the tricep, some guy will go a little lower to the elbow. That's a preference. That's totally up to you, So if that works for you, do it. I've always gone with a tricep because I think it gives you more shoulder control too. So it gets closer up toward the shoulder, and that's why it works. And if he's all buffed, he's got big triceps, then you can really grab him, and he's got a nice handle, you know.
And it's a good midway control point. You know, a lot of guys will tuck their elbows into trying to avoid getting that. So you always know you can get a good grip on the back of his tricep. Even if I'm up here, he's doing his best to kind of shove me down, but I can't get through there. You can catch right in there, and then it's lay back down. And again, notice I'm 90 degrees perpendicular, okay? So as I sit back, I pull that into my chest, then I figure for it, make sure I maintain the chicken wing, okay? Push. Makes sense?
We good? Let's try that. That's a pretty basic way. Yeah, it's got the guard pass, you know, counter. You know, it really does work. And and again, you can sucker people into it. It really will be a good offensive move for you. Okay, let's work on it. Here's a okay, everybody. Here's a great drill. It's basically Ude Garami, Uchikomi. Uchikomi means fitting practice. You know, just a lot of repetitive fitting practice. That's what this is. This will really help you develop a lot of the basic skills of Ude Garami and learn to do it both right and left side. So what's gonna happen is it's on him, and say we'll do a time. We'll say, okay, do as many as you can do in 30 seconds or a minute, or they may go, you know, I'll do 50 or 25 or 10 or whatever. You do the same number, you know, back and forth. So that's, you know, however you want to drill it, but you want to do a lot of repetitions. So this is a way to get at it. Things we want to work on here in this drill. We want to work on, of course, bending the arm and doing all that stuff. We want to work. This really teaches you on turning and getting onto your hips, turning onto your flanks, and then getting a side, you know, side angle on. So this really teaches you a lot about body movement as well as how to do just the bent arm lock from this position, okay? So what it'll be, let's say I'll start the clock and I'll say do as many good ones as you can, let's say in 45 seconds, okay? And let's say we start that. And so what Derek would do, he would grab, so on one side, just go to one side, and he roll that. Okay. And he doesn't need to really tap it hard, just get it in position and then back and forth, and he just keeps doing that for 45 seconds. Now, he's putting some slight pressure on Mike, but not hard pressure, just enough to know he's got the arm lock. But you can wear out a guy's shoulders and elbow real quick if you put the tap out on every time. So you want to be a good partner. And because Derek remembers, it's Mike's turn next. Okay? All right. Let's say we do that for 45 seconds. Let's swap and let you get on him, or you do it on him. And I'll say, okay, go for 45 seconds. And he'll go one side, right side, right side. And notice how they're shifting right and left. The key thing here is getting off the back, getting on your hip, and very efficient body movement. We're not working so much for speed. You'll get speed, but you want to work optimal or efficient body movement. That's what this drill teaches, okay? And it's a lot of repetitions. Uchikomi is a repetition drill, and that's what this is. Okay, thanks, guys. So that's how the drill would go. You know, then we'll go whatever time limit you want, or we could say we're just practicing together, only a few of us in that night practice, okay? Mike, you know, why don't you do, you know, 20 right, 20 left, I'll do 20 right, 20 left, and we'll do something else. You get a lot of repetitions in that way, okay? So it's an efficient way of training, okay? So it's Uchikomi for Ude Garami, all right? Let's start that, so we'll get the time.